so much. Trying.
Okay, is everybody ready? Looks like everybody's ready. So at 6:46 PM, we will call the meeting to order and stand up to do the pledge in a moment of silence. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Seated. Now for the roll call
Mr. Dietrich,
here.
Mrs. Donahue,
Here.
Mr. Elling,
Present.
Mr. Johnston,
Here.
Mr. Knopf,
Here.
Mr. Koch. No. Ms. Lynch,
Elizabeth said she was going to.
oh, okay.
It's probably trying to.
Mr. Scholes
Here.
and Mrs. Smith.
Here.
Thank you. Before we proceed, we have two executive sessions to note. The board held an executive session on January 5th, 2023, from 6:02 PM to 6:41 PM regarding legal and personnel matters. And the board held an executive session on January 5th, 2023, from 8 PM to 9:41 PM regarding legal and personnel matters. First up on the agenda this evening is the hearing of visitors. Other members of the public present to speak to us.
You can come on up. If you'd sit there by the microphone so the online people can hear you.
And just as a heads up, Cody, before you get started, it's 4 minutes, and please do not identify when speaking any names of any employees. Like speak in general terms, not identifying specific people. Yeah, thank you.
Good start. Had a phone call a couple weeks ago. It was over another issue.
Move forward to the mic.
Or pull the mic
Had a
down.
meeting a couple weeks ago with somebody in the administration. That's for a different place, different time. But anyway, we had a good conversation. The one thing he brought to me is there is no retaliation. Everybody is treated fairly. And I took that. I like that. Well, recently up at Renova Elementary, there is one person. He's in the office up that way, but every time my wife walks in there, she gets treated basically like a criminal. He's asking questions. Why is she here? Why is that? Why is this? So I took a letter in that she asked me this morning to deliver to him saying from now on, she's done. She don't want contacted over any issues with our children up there because this so-called individual. So, I take the letter in. I kind of felt like, this is cat and mouse in there. I felt like the mouse, he's the cat. I basically got an attitude because I wanted today to have this meeting. Now my question here is this retaliation because of the personal issues that have gone on? Is vindictive? To me, this is wrong. Why is my wife, maybe my kids' grandparents were in school for a Christmas concert. They're watched the whole time by this individual. And you guys all know, you get this weird feeling if you're being watched. They look up, so-called individual sitting there watching them the whole time. He hurry up and looks down. Now I got 2 young kids in the elementary school. Is this something I'm gonna have to deal with now up until they're seniors? Because, there's retaliation, in my opinion, going on here. I have spoke with the lawyer today. He told me by what I'm telling him, this does sound like harassment, but he said before he does anything, he'd like me to come talk to you guys, see your thoughts before him and I go any further with it.
Okay.
Personally, it's a school district, have kids in there. You shouldn't be treated like a criminal every time you walk in the place. But other than that, that's all I have. I thank you guys for giving me your time to speak tonight.
Yeah, we appreciate you bringing this to our attention and being willing to come here and do the presentation. David, I don't believe we're allowed to provide specific comments, at this time, but we do take your input seriously and we'll consider it. Yeah, thank you. Cody. Next up on the agenda is the superintendent's report.
I just wanted to say, since last week, we did hold our first secondary curriculum showcase night at Central Mountain High School and the Career and Technical Center. There was a great turnout, and I wanted to take a moment to thank, I believe at least one board member attended. Roger, I saw you there. If somebody else was there, I didn't see you. But if you missed this week, you still have another opportunity if you'd like to attend the Bucktail Curriculum Night, which will be held on Wednesday, January 18th, also at 5:30. And I also wanted to mention that our principal search for a new Bucktail High School principal and athletic director is underway. We will begin reviewing those applications tomorrow. We have several applications in the queue. We've also begun to gather, created a survey for parents and students as well as staff members to provide some input on what skills, attributes, and characteristics they're looking for in their next principal. So we'll include some of those folks as well as the members of the board in the panel and the selection process for that search. So we'll keep you posted as we go.
Okay, thank you. Any questions? No. Next up on the agenda then is the committee reports. The first on the list is the Facilities Committee. Jeff?
We have not met since the report from last week. We'll be scheduled to meet again here on the 24th of this month.
Okay. Next up is Finance Committee. I think that's the same.
The only thing that's been changed since last week's meeting, I saw that our meeting has been advertised in the paper that we're going to run them in conjunction with the facility meeting.
Great.
So I saw that's been advertised, so we're good for that.
Okay. And last is the Personnel/Negotiations Committee. Tracy?
We've met, but they're held in executive session.
Okay. Next section of agenda items include the treasurer's report, financial reports, enrollment
Mr. President?
reports. Oh, sorry.
I'd like to make a motion, we move the entire agenda unless anyone have an objection or needs something pulled.
Move the entire agenda up for votes.
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Unless someone would like something pulled.
That's
I'll
fine.
second your motion.
Good.
I need to pull an item, J1. And also, I just wanted to, I don't know if this is a good time to bring it up, but I just wanted to talk about something quick, something for us to think about, nothing that we have to discuss tonight. But it seems like the business privilege tax is becoming quite an issue for a lot of people. And I'm assuming it's because we're just now kind of buckling down on it. And so people are having, from years back brought up to where we are right now. So I just wanted to ask a couple questions, put them out there. Like I said, nothing we have to really get into tonight, but just kind of think about. But I would like to think about or have people know what it would look like if we were to stop it, what that would do for property taxes, and why is there so much confusion for tax preparers on who is and isn't exempt? And is there a way to clarify that better for them?
Okay. After we votes on the agenda items, would we like to have a 5-minute conversation with Polly on this topic?
That's
Is
fine.
that- Is that okay?
It doesn't have to be tonight. It can be something that we can all think about and bring back our ideas later. But I just wanted to bring it up because it does seem to be causing a lot of problems for people. And like I said, I'm assuming it's because we're just now buckling down on it. So it's years past brought up to where we are right now.
Okay,
But I feel like it should, we should at least discuss what it would look like if we didn't do it, what would happen as far as property taxes and things like that. So if we could just kind of think about it, talk about it, that'd be great.
okay. So when we're finished with the vote, we'll come back for a few minutes to your question. On the floor, we have a motion to
Move the
vote
entire-
on the entire
Move
agenda
the second.
aside from J1. Do we have a second?
Jeff has already seconded it.
Jeff, second, okay. It's a roll call vote is in order.
Are there any others?
Are there any others that need to be pulled? No? Okay, let's take a vote then.
Mr. Scholes,
Yes.
Mrs. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Dietrich,
Yes,
Mrs. Donahue,
Yes.
Mr. Elling,
Yes.
Mr. Johnston,
Yes.
and Mr. Knopf.
Yes.
7 yes votes. Motion carries.
Madam, Mr. President,
Mr. Coe.
I'm present now. I had trouble getting in. I vote yes.
okay.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
That makes it 8 here.
8.
Okay, do we need to come back to J1? now?
I'll make a motion. We move J1.
I'll second it.
Okay. And a vote?
Any discussion?
Any discussion on? No? Okay, the vote?
Mrs. Smith,
Yes.
Mr. Dietrich,
Yes,
Mrs. Donahue is abstaining. Mr. Elling,
Yes.
Mr. Johnston,
Yes.
Mr. Knopf,
Yes.
Mr. Coke,
Yes.
and Mr. Scholes.
Yes.
7 yes, 1 abstention. Motion carries.
okay, thank you. And now to close the loop with Polly. Polly, you have the floor for 5 minutes.
Well, I just said what I wanted to talk about. I just wanted the public to know what it would look like if we were to stop doing the business privilege tax. What it would look like for them, what it would look like for the property taxes, if that would cause them to go up. And then basically just kind of maybe have our tax office look at the exemption list and maybe have a way to clarify it better for the tax preparers, because there seems to be a lot of people that are saying their preparer told them that they were exempt and they were not. So I don't know if we can clarify things better for them, or if we can find a way to come up with a solution to, help the burden on these small businesses in our area.
Okay, Butch?
Mr. President, I just suggest that maybe this is something that we could start talking about on the January 24th finance meeting.
Okay,
Discuss it there. Maybe between now and then, that Mrs. McIntyre can look at how much money the business privilege tax brings in and how much we'd have to, or what we'd have to do to replace it with a property tax. And maybe come up with some ideas for us that we can look it all over at the finance meeting and make a report then at our next meeting in February, if that's acceptable, Paulie.
Absolutely. Like I said, I just think I think the problem is that it's because we're just now going back and making sure that everyone's, paying the tax and things like that. And that's what's causing the problem. Because once everybody's caught up and they pay it yearly, they shouldn't have this much of a burden with it. I mean, I don't know, but I'm saying in general, that's my opinion. I'm not sure if that's right or not. But I just think that we should just have a conversation about it, and that That way they can know why we do it and, you know, maybe a little clarification on their end so that they can see, you know, our side of it.
Okay, is it acceptable to bring it up at the finance committee meeting?
I think that's an excellent suggestion.
Okay, do we need
And,
an,
the other thing too, I was just going to mention, I think it would be interesting to just know what neighboring districts their rate is as well for business privilege tax. So, because I'm sure it's comparable, I would guess.
Yeah, I think that there's been a lot of this information was answered several years ago, but we have several new members on the board and maybe some of that information isn't as fresh in folks' minds. So it may be a good idea to provide a refresher about the tax and the rationale and what is the district's responsibility in that. I think there's a lot of misinformation. I feel like there's more misinformation than information out there. So maybe it would be a good idea to think not only about getting the answers that you're asking about, Polly, but also promoting some awareness and maybe an FAQ for folks in the community that would help everyone understand the situation better.
I thought we had a training session for the accountants in the area and tax preparers in the area years ago. And I think maybe it's time we look at that, maybe doing something like that again, maybe have an open house some night and discuss it and talk about
Yeah.
the rationale behind it. And
I know several people have asked me about it too. And there's, as I said, there's a lot of there's more misinformation than information. And I think when folks, I think maybe understanding it better and having the facts would help people significantly.
good, okay. All right, so we'll bring it up at the finance committee meeting and go from there. Yeah, thank you, everybody. I think that's the entire agenda for this evening.
I'd like to make a motion to adjourn.
I will second that.
Okay.
Come on, Jeff. I
Thank
wanted
you.
to.
Sorry, Polly.
Meeting
I
adjourned.
left my microphone on.
I got a quicker draw.
Yeah, you're quicker to it. That's okay. It's the internet lag.
Let's see, where's the-
Thank you.